The Monster in the Shadows. The curse of the shadow. Once upon a time, there was a small town where a 10-year-old boy named Tom lived. Tom's favorite thing to do before bed was to read scary stories. One night, he found a very old and dusty book titled The Monster in the Shadows. Tom opened the book and saw a warning on the first page. Those who read this book will be followed by the monster described within. Tom ignored the warning and started reading. The story was about a terrifying monster that lived in an old, abandoned house just outside the town. The book said that the monster appeared at midnight and hid in the darkness. Its eyes glowed in the dark, and everyone who saw them trembled with fear. The more Tom read, the more excited he became. One night, Tom's best friend Mike came over to his house. They decided to read the book together. Around midnight, Tom and Mike realized that the house in the book really existed just outside their town. Their curiosity pushed them to visit this old and creepy house. The house was known as the Shadow. When they arrived at the house, they slowly opened the door. Inside, everything was old and covered in dust. The house was as eerie as the book described. Suddenly, they heard a creaking sound from upstairs. Tom and Mike decided to go upstairs to find the source of the noise. As they climbed the stairs, their hearts beat faster. At the end of the hallway, they saw a room with its door ajar. When they entered the room, they saw a large mirror on the wall. As they stood in front of the mirror, it suddenly cracked, and the glowing red eyes appeared in the broken shards. Tom and Mike realized at that moment that they should have taken the book's warning seriously. The monster started to slowly emerge from the mirror. They were too scared to move. Tom decided to look at the book to find a way to stop the monster. The book said that only a brave child could defeat the monster. Tom gathered his courage and decided to stand up to the monster. Mike supported Tom, and together they found a way to push the monster back. Finally, the monster retreated into the mirror, and the mirror became whole again. After this terrifying adventure, Tom and Mike returned home. From that day on, Tom stopped reading scary stories and kept his books safely stored away. However, neither he nor Mike could ever forget what had happened. But though everything seemed to be over, it was only the beginning. The Shadow's Curse. After returning home, Tom and Mike started having the same dream every night. In their dreams, they stood in front of the old house, surrounded by shadows. The dreams became increasingly frightening. One night, Tom and Mike heard that another person in the town had gone missing. This person had disappeared at the same time they had gone to the abandoned house. This kept happening, and every night someone went missing in the town. The townspeople became anxious to find the cause of these mysterious disappearances. Tom and Mike feared that they might be responsible since the events started after they had disturbed the monster. However, they couldn't tell anyone. After a while, the townspeople noticed that all the disappearances were connected to the abandoned house. They decided to find out what was going on and solve the problem, so they planned to go to the house together. Tom and Mike were scared when they heard about this plan, but they also felt a glimmer of hope that a solution could be found. The townspeople gathered at midnight and walked towards the old house. Tom and Mike had to go with them. When they arrived at the house, they opened the door and went inside. The house was dark and eerie as before. The townspeople began to investigate the house, but suddenly the lights went out, and the house was. Everyone panicked and looked around. In the darkness, the red eyes glowed again, and the townspeople were attacked by the monster emerging from the shadows. The shadow monster caught everyone one by one and dragged them into the darkness. Tom and Mike tried to escape but were unsuccessful. The monster caught them and pulled them into the darkness. When morning came, the house was silent and no one from the town remained. The abandoned house was once again ruled by darkness, and no one dared to approach it ever again.